Today, I'm going to teach you guys how to make coffee. I'm just joking. I mean, I'm not sure if I'm doing this right, but this is my morning routine. And without further ado, let's get to work. I take my work seriously. I don't laugh. I don't enjoy myself. I'm just joking. But seriously, I take it seriously. This is a commissioned piece of Lilo from The Fifth Element. I am also using a vellum bristle board by Strathmore, and I generally prefer the rougher texture than the smoother bristle board. Sometimes I jump from using different types of pencils. In this piece, I used the 2mm Staedtler, and then I went from that to the wooden H High Uni Mitsubishi pencil. I try to vary up my line weights, and that's why I jump from mechanical to 2mm to wooden pencils. It's the line weight, and it's sometimes it's the way it's the handling of it, and even the weight of the pencil. Multi-liners gives me a variety of color that I could use. For example, the sepia tones, the reds and blues, if I wanted like an outline that's not so harsh and not so dark like black ink would be. That said, I do vary from multi-liner to inking with brushes or nibs. And now for the fun part, the Copic markers. I generally work from light to dark, especially with Copic markers. For the most part, I'll use skin white, milky white, brick beige for the base skin tones. I always start with the nose because that's the most fun for me, is working on the nose and like the eyes and the lips, of course. Putting in the base skin tones is actually a tricky, really important part of the process because it basically lays down the groundwork for all the darker colors, the more saturated colors that you're about to put in later. For skin midtones, I would generally use raw silk, light caramel, barely beige, and baby skin pink. Again, we're building color from light to dark. Just it gives me some confidence, and it's easy to fix mistakes at this stage. And once you start adding shadows in, it gets really tough to kind of go backwards if you made a mistake. I'm slowly developing the shadows, so I use the midtones to kind of help me bring out the shape of the face and the body and the figure overall. I became addicted to Copic markers and traditional mediums after I bought 2 to 3 colors at Blick's in Seattle, and I bought some of the toughest colors to blend because I didn't intend on blending them at first. They were like a bright green, orange, and pink were my first colors. but then I just liked how they felt, so I started to buy a few more colors. I started to add some of the skin tones and the cool and warm grays to my selection. And so I started blending with those. That was fun. And then I decided to buy the watercolors, the gouache, and it just kept going on and on and on. And so here we are now. And of course, gotta have the pink cheeks and the pink noses and the lush lips. And so I use pink or any of the rosier colors. And by the way, I don't use blenders. I started using them years ago. I used them a few times, but I didn't like the result. So I just blend my colors together as is without having to use a blender. Blending Copic markers, just like any other traditional medium, requires a lot of practice, patience, and experimentation. So if at all possible, I will use the slightly lighter color first before laying in the darker colors. For example, her hair is like a fiery orange red color. So that one was kind of scary. But then again, you know, she has red hair. So what do you do? I started with the warm grays and the cool grays when I wanted to learn how to blend, and I always recommend that people start with those tones first, just because it's easier to practice blending with a gradient that's already kind of set for you. So I would do W5 through W1. I actually started my professional career using Photoshop for most of my coloring, and then I went from doing pencils for a long time and just penciling everything with my Wacom tablet and Photoshop. I can honestly say I'm glad that I switched, because it's the most satisfying feeling when you create a piece of art that is one of a kind and there's an original piece that you could look at. I think there's a uniqueness and something special about doing things traditionally, doing things with just digital, and even mixing the two. I mean, there's just different types of art that can be created with the different types of mediums that you could use nowadays. And the popular saying goes, these are all just tools, it's all about how you use them. Much of that is very true. I say create the kind of art that you could be proud of and that you're happy you created and you went on the journey just to kind of discover yourself and discover your style and the type of art you want to make. I had to try to figure out how was I going to do my comic book Lola XOXO with Copic markers and watercolors and inks. It took a few years to figure out, but I think I finally got the hang of it. Copic markers can get expensive, as we all know. However, it's been very cost effective for me. I've been able to use one refill to do 2 to 3 books. But the colors I use the most, such as skin tones, grays, they tend to go out a lot quicker. So I'll buy a couple refills of those. But overall, they've been very cost effective for me. I do use the rougher paper, like the vellum, surfaces bristle for my stuff. So it does use up a little bit more Copic marker ink than the Copic paper and the smoother bristle boards, but I do prefer the look that I get with the rougher paper, so I'm willing to spend a little bit extra just to get the look that I want. And because Copic markers are expensive, that's also why I started to utilize watercolors in the backgrounds and for any elements that I could probably not use some Copic markers, because it doesn't really make a huge difference if it was Copics or watercolors. The only time where I insist on using Copics all the time is on the skin and maybe the hair and parts of the clothing perhaps. So I am using the Pentel brush pen for this part right here, and like I mentioned before, I don't add the harsh black inks or markers until I feel comfortable enough with the colors and with the outlines that I've used with the multi-liners. Now this brush pen is not Copic marker proof, which means if you try to color over it, it's gonna smudge. So I usually don't use this if I plan on inking first and then coloring afterwards. For that, I would use the Sumi ink and the Pilot ink. They're both Copic marker proof. And now for my absolute favorite part. Using the gel pens, Jelly Rose, Whiteout, whatever you want, but like the opaque white inks to bring out the eyes, the nose, and kind of give it that shine. Why wouldn't you want to do that? It's so much fun. If I could, I would do that with everything, but that would just be overkill. A little bit of shine here, a little bit of shine there. No one's gonna notice that everything is ultra shiny, even though there is no reason for it. Ah yes, watercolors. I love watercolors. I love it so much that I will buy as many different brands as I can and try it out, and I'd be like, oh my god, so amazing. But then I always end up using the Angora watercolors. It's by Canson, certified non-toxic, made in Germany. Why do I keep going back to these cheaper watercolors, you ask? Because there's so many colors, it's so convenient to just open it up and use it on the go. And it's dry watercolors, so yeah, I don't have to do anything fancy. As you can see, it's a really messy palette. I've started using a lot of the watercolors for the backgrounds in my own book, and just for pieces in general. So this piece is Copic markers for the figure and then watercolors for the background. Again, just like Copic markers, watercolors light to dark whenever possible, but I don't always follow that rule because watercolors is so easy to fix with water. It doesn't dry that fast, and it kind of looks cool. And I prefer cool if it works for that piece. I enjoy adding rough textures on top of the Copic markers, especially because I did a post-apocalyptic book. The watercolors kind of added to the grittiness of the environment and the characters. So right now I'm going through and refining the piece, outlining, and just kind of bringing everything into a contrast, make her pop out more. So right now I'm using the Prismacolor brush tip markers, and it's the sepia tone to kind of get the not so harsh black outlines I was speaking of. The piece is now done. Drops brush.